Hello. Welcome to Thank You Half Hour. Of course, the first thing I do is tap the table. The one thing they say don't do is tap the table because the noise. Hello. Bam. I tap the table. What is wrong with me? Welcome to Thank You Half Hour. My name is Tom Christopher Warren. I'm your host. And I'm laughing because I'm here with the funniest man, I think, ever. I was going to say funniest man alive, but I truly believe ever. A great, great human being, a brilliant artist. Broadway, national tours, regionally. Thankfully, we have him here in Columbus doing a show at Short North Stage, which is why he's able to join me. Robert Anthony Jones, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
Raj and I, so colloquial, yep, do it. Yeah.
Oh, wait, can I?
Yeah. Come on. Come on. Raj and I have known of each other for actually many, many years because we share very dear friends in common. But we would always we were ships that pass in the night. The one event that I remember being at with you was our dear friends, Erin McGuire and Jim Ferris, their wedding. Yeah. And we were both there, but so were, 8 million other people. So we were constantly like, hi, nice to see you. Hey, great to see you. So,
but I specifically remember meeting the two of you at the dessert table.
Sure. Well, that tracks.
I was like, hold it.
That 100% tracks. Very on brand. And then we finally actually got to sit and talk because you did a reading for me last year of this play that I'd written and you were brilliant. Oh. And now here you are in Columbus, Ohio doing...
The Prom. I was like, wait, what?
What am I doing?
The Prom, yes.
The Prom, fabulous musical, Short North Stage. We'll have a link to it.
Such a fun musical.
Yeah, and what are you playing?
I'm playing Barry Glickman, and he's a Broadway star. It's a stretch for me, but he's an egotistical Broadway star.
How will you access?
I mean, I'll go. I'm classically trained, so I'll just reach down.
Sure, sure. Where are you from originally? Are you Long Island?
Long Island.
Yes, I thought.
I love that this is my camera. I'm like, got it.
What the? I mean, I talk about you being the funniest man alive, and I truly, truly believe it. Where did this even start? Like, what? I talk to guests about, what inspired you to get into the theater and what keeps you inspired today. But this little kid in Long Island, were you going to see Broadway shows? Were you seeing tours? What was?
Yeah, I was going to see Broadway shows. My family, my mom and dad took my sister and I. My brothers. I have two brothers and one sister, and my brothers are 11 and 12 years older, so they were kind of out of the house, and my sister and I were still in the house, and my father and mother would take me to go see Broadway shows, but I was never into the theater. I liked it, but I never thought this is what I was going to do. I wanted to be a teacher.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I realized I hate children. No, I'm kidding.
Except for your own.
I mean, I love him.
A magical little human.
He is. He's
I can't wait to meet him.
He's the tits.
How old is AJ?
3.5.
Everything you post is from prior to having AJ to finally being able to post pictures.
Yeah.
Just like he carries this light with him
he's just
in every photo and in all of your posts.
Yeah. Did you see him the other day when he's like, Dada, stop singing? But he also gave me a side eye. He's like, singing.
Come on, side eye. That seems to be a common theme among performer parents.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that seems to be a common theme of when you perform, Raj.
Those who hear you sing often say, no, Kate Baldwin was on the show and she's like, her kid just can't tolerate it. It's fantastic.
I think they also were like, don't do, because if I try to imitate thing, he's like, no, stop it.
What does he love that you do?
Nothing. No.
Oh,
no. We actually, my husband and he and I, we just laugh all the time and we're always silly.
I believe it.
But the three of us do this thing when we put him to sleep. He's in bed and we say, all together, we say, Alexa, bedroom off. And then the lights go up and it cracks him up. So we've kind of made it like a bedtime ritual for the three of us.
Oh my God, I love that. I had a student at Otterbein where I taught who smart wired his whole residence so that it was not only light connected but sound, right? So that he could walk into the bathroom and go, Alexa, poop music, or Alexa, poop, and the lighting would shift, the music would shift to something completely
that
inappropriate.
is genius.
I mean,
Inappropriate.
yeah. Well, appropriately inappropriate. But yeah, he's very funny. He's now on tour with Shrek.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that was going back out.
Yeah.
Oh.
A new sort of rethought, reimagined version of it.
He's not an ogre. He's jellyfish.
Right, exactly. He's a sock puppet.
And he's not green.
And the Farquhar's now on stilts. All very different, yet very similar. Yeah, I actually never saw Shrek.
Really?
New York. No, and I'm such a fan of both
Benedict.
Brian and Sutton.
Yeah.
And Seabird.
And also the Janine Tesori.
Oh,
she wrote the music.
Love. Yeah. So hopefully I'll see. I like going to see my students in there.
Yeah, that's
their success
that's
stories.
So great.
It's pretty.
Are they coming around here?
There'll be in Ohio, but I don't think Columbus. But I'll get in the car and I'll go schlep somewhere. I've got a student who's on the Hadestown tour, and they're going to be in Dayton soon. So I'm going to.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Drive up there. Yeah.
My in-laws are in Cleveland, so I'll be going to see them. Mm-hmm.
Will they come down and see the prom?
Yeah. And my aunt and my cousins are coming too.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
So you didn't see this for yourself. When did that change?
See this role?
No, the theater.
Oh, theater. My best friend, actually what happened was my best friend was going to audition for Oliver, and he hated whenever I did. Never mind. But he hated everything that I did, like to copy him.
Right.
And so I was like, I'm not going to do it. And I came home, and my sister was graduating from high school, and I was in 6th grade, and she said, they're doing Oliver, and they want to use kids from the community. And she said, do you want to audition? I said, I don't think so. She's like, I thought it would be fun if we did our last show together. So I said, okay. And so I auditioned, and then I got called. You know the story? I got called back for Oliver, and then I got the Oliver understudy, and a workhouse orphan and Fagin's gang member, and then later on, the producer or the music supervisor, whoever it was that was in charge, Mr. Andrucci, said to my mother, and they called me Bobby back then, and I'm not a Bobby, and and he said to my mom, we loved Bobby for this role, but he was just a little too healthy looking for Oliver. I said, no one asked. No one even asked why I didn't get it. But I showed them.
Did you book it? No, you were an orphan. You were a workhouse boy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And my solo line was, I had one solo line, and it was, just thinking of growing fat. That was my solo.
People are awful.
People are horrible.
They're horrible. Not you, my friends of listeners. You're wonderful, wonderful people.
But that was a different time too.
Sure,
so you grow up. But I've always been very comfortable with myself and who I am. So not in high school. In high school, you're like,
high school's terrible.
High school's terrible.
Middle school's terrible.
Yeah, the worst. Middle school's the worst.
Yeah.
But as I grew older, I was like, this is who I am, and I embrace myself, and I really love myself, Tom.
You know what? You better, because everyone around you loves you too.
That is true.
I mean, the stories that I would hear from Erin McGuire, who's the other funniest human being I've ever. I mean,
she's off the charts.
Off the charts. Friends, listen to Dear Pod, a podcast she hosted for several years with her husband Jim. Just so friggin' funny. And the two of you have a rapport.
Well, we always tell this story. In fact, I just saw her a couple months ago, as I was telling you, and we were at the diner, and we were laughing so hard about literally nothing. And this woman came over. She said, the server who was bringing my leftovers said, everyone should have your energy. Everyone should have this laughter, and we can't even talk because we just keep laughing because we just think we're out of control, and we don't, I'm sure there are people who are like, that's enough, but not us.
Tell me about touring with Erin McGuire in 101 Dalmatians.
We had a ball touring together, and we lived together in a couple of cities, but there was one city that we lived together where my friend Rob was living. And I said, do you want to come and live there? And he doesn't, he's not going to charge us anything and we'll save some money. And she said, yeah. I said, the only thing is there's only one bedroom and there's only one bed. She's like, sold.
Sign me up.
And I used to wear earplugs when I went to sleep and they would pop out of my ear in the middle of the night. So one day, like, I got up and like went to go to the bathroom and she rolled over and there was like a fluorescent orange earplug and she just took a selfie of herself with the earplug.
She did. Of course she had the presence of mind to reach for her phone and just.
But we had a ball on that tour. We still have a Dalmatians book club that.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For those who didn't see this tour, it was pretty niche because all of the non-dog characters were on stilts.
Mm-hmm.
So like right there is a recipe for chaos ensuing. I mean, how can you? It also, your whole cast was pretty spectacular.
They were amazing.
Funny.
And they were spectacular people. Well, Jerry Zaks directed it. Warren Carlyle choreographed it. And then Dennis DeYoung did the music.
Oh my God. Sticks. Dennis DeYoung.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hilarious. And BT McNichol did the book, and he's just a love as well. I just loved the whole experience. I loved working with Jerry Zaks. Like, he was so nice to me. He was so kind. And someone told me this story, which stays with me, where they were auditioning for my role, because actually I think someone dropped out and I had to go in.
Okay.
Not had to go in. I got an audition.
Yeah.
And as a replacement, he's like, I just want someone to walk in and I start laughing. I walk in and I start laughing. And the person who cast it said, and you walked in and Jerry started laughing. I was like,
Did you see his dolly?
Yes. Oh my God.
I mean, my God.
Oh my God.
It was like an assault of fabulous.
It was so amazing.
Everything, every detail.
And I love Hello Dolly. Like, I
do
secretly want to be Minnie Faye.
Oh, come on. Let's do it. I'll be the world's oldest Cornelius. With
Great.
It's such a I did the show last summer, and I didn't know I loved it until I did it.
Oh, that's right. Where did you do it? Here?
Shenandoah in Virginia.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and it wasn't. It was a show I loved. When we had one of our child wranglers at Lion King, his wife was very involved in the producing team for the revival. So I was getting some intel on the casting early on.
Right.
And when he told me Bette Midler, Hello Dolly, I combusted. Like, there was nothing left of me but like who is it? Is it Lot's wife turns to a pillar of salt? I just went, and I couldn't handle how wonderful it was. And then I saw it, and it surpassed all of my dreams. The design, the choreo, everything was so perfect. And Jerry Zaks just put that stamp on that show. I didn't know how much I loved it.
I mean, he's the best. I actually saw it twice with Donna Murphy and with Bette Midler. They were so different.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Donna was the one I didn't see. I saw Bernadette, who was fabulous.
I'm sure.
And I saw Bette a couple of times. And I didn't get to see Betty on the road. I would have loved to.
Yeah.
Because, that's a whole nother.
Yeah. And then Carolee Carmello. She played it. She went in too.
Yeah, right.
Who I did Finding Neverland with Carolee Carmello. And they were putting me into the show and they kept saying, remember you're bowing next to the right of Madame du Maurier, to the right of Madame du Maurier, or the left of Madame du Maurier. And that was Carolee Carmello's character. And I just kept my head down and I was just doing my thing. And finally they were like, don't forget you're holding hands with Madame du Maurier. And I said, trust me, the 10-year-old gay boy in me will not forget that I'm holding hands with Carolee Carmello and bowing.
Right, on a Broadway stage.
Yeah.
My first time on a Scar when I did the show in New York at first, Sam Wright was still our Mufasa.
Amazing.
And this man, the voice of Sebastian in Little Mermaid, the original animated film, and the original Mufasa, just original cast of Pippin, this incredible sense of history just sort of floats around with him. And famously, whenever someone new came into the show and they had to put in, he was in full costume and makeup, just because he felt that the person being put in deserved.
Oh, that's
that,
so
right.
Nice.
So my first time on it was the same thing, bowing next to him. I can't believe this is happening right now. Was Finding Neverland your debut?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing the way it happened. I found out on a street corner. I remember my agent called and I looked up and it was 49th and 9th. And I looked up and I was like, I gotta remember this. And she goes, "You're going to Broadway." And I just was, I crumpled like a $2 bill on 9th Avenue. And they were just so nice. And the opening was just incredible. Kelsey Grammer was in it, Matt Morrison, Laura Michelle Kelly. Like it was just
Jessica Vosk.
Jess Vosk.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, we used to backstage. She used to make us pee our pants. I mean,
She's
she
ridiculous.
Is so funny too. Yeah. She is hilariously funny. And I had like 30 people there that night, and it was just very exciting. It was just a very, very exciting night. It was everything. I know some people go into shows and they're like, "Oh, it didn't live up to what my dream was." Mine surpassed it. I felt so like I belonged, So.
And you do, and you did. I sat through that show, so beautiful, but I was not emotionally prepared for the scene.
No.
At the end.
Yeah.
Just spoiler alert, right? And if anybody's seen the movie, there's a significant passing of one of the principal characters, and the way that was staged and lit and designed, I wasn't ready for it, and I projectile cried 6 rows in front of me. People thought I had lost my fucking mind because it was one of the most stunning theatrical moments I've seen on a stage ever.
We used to go the glitter tornado of death.
That's exactly what it was. I mean, so we've now said that. So this character transitions into into her death and is escorted by Peter Pan through this window in a tornado of this tornado that appears out of nowhere. We don't see fans come on stage. Obviously, they're built into the deck, or And she's wearing this gorgeous, not that I'm gay, this gorgeous peignoir set, this beautiful.
Well, I mean, this whole thing sounds very gay. The way she dies. This is the way I'm dying, by the way.
Glitter tornado of death.
Maybe a little more sequence, but
obviously,
definitely
because we're not raised by heathens. But this wind appears out of nowhere. Her peignoir set is flailing around her. There's Peter Pan throws fairy dust because gay, and so there's this fucking glitter swirling in the air as she's escorted through the window by Peter Pan, and her robe just floats in a gentle circle in the air, and I'm like moaning like the Wailing Wall.
And then he pushes her and she's like, "Ah!" No, it's true, because that's the last thing you see. And like there was some lyric that's like, "And if I know then I'll be in Neverland," or something. And it's like, like I'm getting chills just thinking about it now.
It was perfection.
And the night before I went on stage, the night before I was making my Broadway debut, I was in the wings just watching it, and the stagehand pushed me out to like the furthest I could be without being seen. And I'm like crying and like this is happening, and it was just, I'm tearing up talking about it now, but it was such an amazing, that whole thing. I was only supposed to be in it for like 3 weeks.
I remember.
And then I went in and played another character. And then I went back, like I was just going in and out the way you do with Lion King, it was just amazing. And then I took over the role and closed the show.
Incredible. Even the story of the crew guy pushing you out, that is such an illustration of the community that we have, because he wanted you to get as close as possible without being seen. He wanted, so that little gift of like, I'm gonna push you over here. That's what I love about what we do and about Broadway, and it's
agreed.
I couldn't love it more.
I know. Get me back there.
I mean, come on,
Jerry.
Have you read Lou Stadlin's book? I guess he's written two, but the most recent about touring with Dolly.
No.
He talks, I just read it, and it's really fun. There's a lot of, he's a huge baseball fan, so you have to sort of, if you're me, suffer through a lot of baseball, sports ball talk. But once you sift through that, the theater stories are so great. And he talks a lot about Jerry Zaks, because they go way, way, way back, and then continue to work together.
Did Forum.
But they, like, I think they were actors together in
really?
Fiddler, in like the first national of Fiddler, something like that.
See, I didn't have time to read that book because I've been occupied for the last couple of years because I read Barbra Streisand. 1,000 pages.
I mean, and you read it or you
So
listened
long,
to it?
dearie. No, I listened to it.
Yeah, sure.
because I also had
wouldn't
to
you?
hear her do it. But she also
Obviously.
put her songs on. I mean, it's a fascinating book. But I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm in chapter 1. I'm about 700
Oh,
pages
you
in.
are?
Yeah.
Okay, well, in a year and a half, when you finish, let me
We'll
know what you
reconvene.
think. And then I actually had just finished it on the ride here.
Did you really?
And then I put on Britney Spears' autobiography, and I finished that like before I even got to like Dayton.
I hear it's great though.
It is very good. It's sad. It's kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
And Michelle Williams reads it,
Yeah.
right? And beautifully.
yeah, she does a great job.
I heard a clip and I was like, oh, that's how you get a story, like, you know, someone who really has the capability to do an audiobook,
Right.
tell this story very authentically.
I just wish she told it like Gwen Verdon, you know, like.
Come
So
on.
I said, Bobby, you better work, bitch.
Oops, I did it again. It's like Gwen's Depends commercial. I can't. So what are you excited about with the Prom? What you have not played Barry yet.
No, I
right?
have not played
I mean,
Barry.
and this is for those of you who know the Prom. This is magnificent casting. It's a
Yes.
fabulous show.
Oh,
It's a great role.
Great role.
And you're going to be killer in it.
Thank
What do you have you wanted to play it?
I have wanted to play it, and I auditioned for it a few times, and it just hadn't come my way.
Yeah.
And then when Eddie who's the Edward Carrigan, the artistic director of Short North Stage, with Dionysia Williams
Yeah.
Velasquez, right?
Yeah, it's Velasco. Yeah.
Velasco. I call her Mrs. Velasco. When Eddie, I've known Eddie and Dionysia for years.
Yeah.
And Eddie said, "Are you available for this?" I said, "I am." You know, it takes a lot to go out of town now with my son. So I'm just so excited. I'm excited for the community to see it because I didn't realize what a kind of melting pot of like arts and creative and theater and
This is your first time in
barbershops.
Columbus?
Like even the barber shop, I walked in, I was like, it's so edgy.
Where'd you go?
God, I wish I could give them a plug. Actually, let me just check right now. I bet I can tell you.
It's a fabulous haircut.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Turner's Barber and Company.
Okay.
They have two. They have one. I went to the further one away because they could get me in right then.
Sure.
But they were amazing.
This is your first time in Columbus?
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It's fabulous. We came through with Lion King 20 years ago, and we stayed back then. We were long time in each city. We were 3 months, so we spent a whole summer here.
Gosh.
And I remember thinking, oh, this is a very livable city. And by all accounts, it's a very different city 20 years later. But we fell in love with it, and 20 years later, here we are. But you're right, the art scene, the beer scene, the queer scene, the music scene.
Yeah, like every like I mean, I was joking, but like even down to like the haircut, you know, everything is very welcoming, and even the one of the two people who was cutting hair, there were two people there. The woman was saying, you know, I said, "Did you hear the tornado warning last night?" And she said, "No." She said, "I slept through it, but if my wife," you know, she's talking about her wife. She's like, "My wife will protect me," and it's just so nice to have like a thriving, you know, queer community here.
It's the best. And the theater is right across from Stonewall, the Queer Youth Center, right across the street at High Street.
That's right. Yeah, they told me about that. And it's a great, as Aaron McGuire would call it, walkable city.
It is. Aaron, you know, we got Aaron out here.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So early pandemic, right?
Yes.
Everything shut down. Nobody can function. But we, of course, are like, well, we got to make money somehow. I know. We'll do a virtual thing that we'll have somebody write, and it'll be a Christmas thing, and you're going to play Santa, and we're going to bring in Aaron McGuire as Mrs. Claus.
Oh my gosh, I saw pictures of that.
It was remarkable for many reasons because we were working when so many were not, right?
Yeah.
We had equity contracts when so many people, everything was shut down. And they involved the community for a bunch of numbers. And Erin was out here for a month and stayed with us. And, you know, was obviously the funniest woman alive. And we just screamed the whole time. The whole time we laughed.
I remember seeing those pictures,
Yeah.
and I think I was like, what's happening? But I was in my pandemic mode, so I couldn't, I was busy watching West Wing.
Well, yeah.
So.
Well, Eddie, and I got to have him on the show too, because for anyone who knows Edward Garrigan, the artistic director of Short North that we've been talking about, is a jack of all trades. And since everything was shut down, he did everything himself. He built this set, and he designed the lights, and he bought the costumes and designed the costumes, and he directed it, and we had it written by Mark Waldrop, who wrote When Pigs Fly.
Oh my gosh! Right. Yeah, he wrote a Bunnicula that Aaron
He
and I
did. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Mark directed me and Gypsy at Paper Mill years and years ago. So when the shutdown started, we needed some vehicle.
He directed you in what?
Gypsy at Paper Mill.
Really?
Yeah. He and Patrick, his partner, co-directed it with Betty
amazing.
Buckley with so many stories.
Oh wait, I saw that. And Debbie Gibson.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my friend John Flynn was in that.
John and I were
know the
dating at the
story?
time.
Really?
Yes.
John Flynn was my roommate in college.
Stop it.
Yeah. Whore.
I didn't know about his book until like a year ago. And I didn't know that, for those of you who read John Flynn's book, Baked, it's very fun. I didn't know about any of that while we were together or while we, were in each other's circle. So reading that book was fabulous.
Oh,
fun.
so did he? I haven't read it yet, John. Sorry.
Oh.
But does he talk about the?
He talks about his side hustle.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why it's called Baked.
Yes.
And I did
that
not know any of that.
Oh.
And he mentions Gypsy, but
Right.
In passing.
Right. Well, he did a whole.
Oh, yes. I saw the show, Confessions of a Farm Boy.
You were dating him then?
Yeah. I mean, dating might be a loose
Right.
definition.
Well,
We'd have to coalesce.
Loose.
Yeah. We had a good time. We had a lot of fun. My salad days. Yeah. Why did I? So Mark, we reached out to Mark and we're like, can we do When Pigs Fly? We're going to do a virtual thing. He said, yeah, sure. So he wrote some new stuff for us. He wrote a new Carol Ann monologue, which was the most fun ever. And then after that, Eddie reached out and said, would you write a Christmas show? We got to make some money. We got to involve the community. Here are the bullet points. And he was like, absolutely. Wrote another Carol Ann monologue for me. So he was really a supporter of Short North and of Edward's work.
Amazing.
And of us trying to figure out how to fucking deal with the pandemic and make some money.
Right.
He's the greatest.
He wrote the music, obviously, too. But Charles Busch wrote the book. Bunnicula. It was just like a dream team.
Have you read Charles's book?
No, not yet.
Read it.
I'm getting to that.
Yeah. That on your drive home, listen.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
just had to get through Britney's.
I mean. Unbelievable. Oh, Charles's book is delicious, and it's a love letter to his aunt, and it's really wonderful. Yeah. What are you looking forward to coming up?
You want a hot body? No, I'm just gonna do Gwen Vernon. No, it's Gwen Vernon doing "You Better Work, Bitch."
We had there used to be in Lion King a mole puppet that would pop up, and in a German accent, one of the ensemble guys, one of the singers would say, "Zazu, news from the underground." That was the only line. And it was a puppet, and then on the road it was a recording. And do you know Kenny Ingram at all?
No, I know that name though.
He's great.
Yeah.
He warns me. He's on. He's a swing. He's on. He said, Gwen Verdon is going to be the mole today. I'm like, okay. And sure enough, I get out there as Zazu. Zazu news from the underground. And 1,800 people watched me pee myself.
See, now that's the best. I'm doing a terrible version. That's a great one.
I don't know.
You better work, bitch. I don't know why I'm just stuck on that line. And also because in the book, Michelle Williams did, Britney Spears is very proud of that song. She's like, I didn't like any other song. Besides, you better work, bitch. Anyway, so we're walking down the street and you better work, bitch. You better work, bitch. You just keep saying it. And I'm like, stop.
And you don't expect that to come out of Michelle Williams' voice, but there she is. You better work.
You want a hot body.
You're not going to be funny at all in the prom. I don't know what they were thinking.
But I really want to talk more about the prom because we have an amazing cast.
Yeah.
The kids, we have the kids from the high school who are the interns who are playing the kids at the high school. And Britta, I forget what her. Do you know Britta? She was
Britta Ray. Yeah,
yes.
She was the lead in Beautiful when the theater did it, and she's a CCM.
She's
grad.
Amazing.
She's incredible.
She's amazing. And Heather Patrick King is playing. Is that it? Heather.
I don't know her. Is she your
She's
Dee
Dee Dee.
Okay.
She's incredible. The entire cast is incredible.
Yeah, Heidi, who's playing Zaz. What's her name?
Oh, right.
Yes.
Give it some zazz.
Starring Gwen
Yeah.
Verdon. Yeah, it's like, and then Nick Harden. Had you met
Is
Nick
he
Harden?
playing Trent?
He is.
No, I hadn't. And
Yeah,
he's
you're gonna-
so
You're going to get along famously. He is, and I'm sure you know this, but he's the resident Frankenfurter every year when they do Rocky.
Oh,
and
I bet that's amazing.
I mean, he sells all the tickets.
Yeah.
He's incredible, but just an incredible human.
Yeah.
You're gonna love. Yeah.
I also love the message of this show because it fits very neatly into this society
Yeah.
here at Columbus of,
Yeah.
acceptance and just loving who you are and accepting who you are. I think that's also why I love doing this role of Barry Glickman, because he is kind of like me, because he's finding stuff out about himself, which of course I am, and we all are as well, the human race. But he's also very joyful. He's crazy. He's like bubbly, and that's kind of who I am.
Yeah.
So I just kind of go in and be myself, which is always a nice thing to do.
He finds his generosity throughout the play, whereas I
Right.
think you lead with generosity in your life. I would say
Oh,
that's
well,
the difference.
Thank you. That is true.
I'm just saying. Will the family be able to see this?
We're hoping they're gonna make a trip.
Has AJ seen a show yet?
No, AJ was gonna come see. I did Beauty and the Beast right before I did this show, and we were going to bring him to that, but we had circumstances that just kind of prevented it. But I'm interested to see what he would do. I think he would be like, just enthralled with it. But I don't know if we'll bring him to the prom.
Does he know what does he call you? Dada?
Dada.
Dada. Does he know, like, how does he frame what Dada does?
I don't think
The
he
pretend
really.
aspect of it.
He knows. My husband's a teacher, and I think in fact, AJ's teacher today just said AJ said Papa's at school. So I think he knows. He gets that,
Got
but
it.
I don't think he gets that I act even when I'm acting. I don't think he really knows. He just knows that I'm Dada, and Daddy. And I am home for him and taking care of him and let him do whatever he basically wants.
I mean, I've seen his face. There's no way.
There's no way.
Say no to that. There's just no way.
And I'll be like, Aiden, because that's his real name.
Uh-huh.
Aiden, no. And he's like, and he just slowly still does it. I'm like, no.
all the while taking notes.
Right. He's like,
okay, that's how to do it.
okay, I can do that.
Noted. Yep. Great. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for being on the
Oh,
show.
this flew.
I know. It always does. I mean, the whole thank you half hour model tends to be thank you 45 minutes because I just keep blabbing. But it's such a joy to finally get to chat with you. And I'm
know.
thrilled that you're going to be here for a couple of months.
I'm so glad I sweat for half an hour / 45 minutes.
It's a good thing you have that fan. Ever so gently.
Away, keep it away.
Iconic. Friends, thank you for tuning in. Robert Anthony Jones, Raj, thank you for being here.
Oh, it's my
Can't
pleasure.
wait
Thank
to
you for
chat
having me.
more.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Love you. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, love you. Love you, audience.
Bye, listeners.
Boxland Media. Think big.